Today we're going to take a closer look at Coos Bay with some drone footage. I'll show you around town, give you a little history on the town, and as always, talk to you about the real estate market. All that starts now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living on the Oregon Coast. Today we're going to talk about Coos Bay, including North Bend. The combined area, Coos Bay and North Bend, make up about 25,000 people, so it's the most populous area along the Oregon coast. And being the most populous spot along the Oregon coast, you also have a great diversity of neighborhoods, probably as good of a diversity of neighborhoods as anywhere else along the Oregon coast. You've got quiet retirement communities, you've got working class communities, you've got upper class communities, and pretty much everything in between, which kind of gives Coos Bay a unique feel to it. I would say with the exception of Astoria, Coos Bay has the largest and I feel like the most vibrant feeling downtown. North Bend's going to be a little bit different. I'll get to that in just a moment. Right now we're just going to focus on Coos Bay. As you can see from the drone footage, the 101 goes right through Coos Bay, and there's a fair amount of attractions for people that are passing through to stop and check out, such as the boardwalk that you can kind of see. You see right down there just below us. So there's there's a lot of people that are passing through that are stopping for various different things that might not be stopping in different coastal towns. North Bend's downtown, a little bit quieter. You don't have probably as many attractions or for people to stop through, to stop and see. I'll show you some North Bend footage in just a moment, but a little bit quieter in North Bend. And North Bend is just, this is facing to the north, so North Bend is just about 5 or 6 minutes up the 101 from here. So the mid-19th century was a pretty significant turning point for Coos Bay and North Bend as the Oregon Gold Rush brought quite a few settlers to the area. However, it was really the discovery of coal around the mid-1800s that really kind of transformed the area. All the establishment of the coal mines in the area spurred quite a bit of economic growth, and that led to the founding of the cities Marshfield, which was later renamed to Coos Bay, and North Bend. These two towns quickly became real big hubs for shipping coal to other parts of the West Coast. And North Bend and Coos Bay, they're connected. They're right next to each other. If you're not familiar with the area and you're passing through, you might not know the difference between the two. You might not know when you're ending or leaving or getting to Coos Bay or when you're leaving North Bend. So and that's the reason why the areas are often referred to as the Coos Bay North Bend area, because there's not a whole lot of difference between those two areas. Now, as the 20th century dawned, the timber industry began to dominate the local economy, which you'll notice kind of in this video and around town. And by the way, that hill that you see right there, Telegraph Hill, that's where you can find some of the larger homes. If you're looking for a larger home, especially if you'd like to have something with a view. One of the casinos, which is just up the road from here, if we would have kept going north, we're now facing towards south. One of the casinos is named the Mill Casino, kind of as a tribute to the lineage of the industry, the timber industry here. So the Coos Bay area became a pretty vital player in the timber industry, attracting workers and families from all across the region. So the completion of the Coos Bay rail line in the early 1900s also further facilitated the transportations of goods, and that also helped a lot of the economic growth. Now, when World War II hit, that brought additional changes to Coos Bay, North Bend, and the region played kind of more of a strategic role in supporting the war efforts such as shipbuilding. So the shipbuilding industry started to flourish here. There were shipyards producing vessels for the Navy, and this area of industrial expansion really kind of left a lasting impact on the local communities and the economy. Now, one thing you can kind of see about the Coos Bay downtown, you do have some larger buildings, which you don't have that in a lot of the other downtowns on the Oregon coast. So it has a little bit more of a historic feel to it. And in recent decades, the decline of traditional industries like timber or shipbuilding kind of prompted Coos Bay and North Bend to explore a lot of other avenues of growth. So, which was tourism. tourism and recreational activities became increasingly important to really growing the local economy. Most notably, recreational activities, I would say the Dunes National Recreation Area. A lot of people coming here with off-road vehicles, UTVs, ATVs, all those recreational type vehicles that people are taking to the dunes. And then just below right there, if you're not familiar with this person, this is Steve Prefontaine, probably one of the biggest legends, I would say, athletic legends from the state of Oregon. He set quite a few records, even competed in the Olympics. He was the first athlete to win 4 consecutive NCAA track titles in the same event. He placed 1 place in the 72 Olympics from medaling, so he took 4th place, and I know he was one of the favorites for the 76 Olympics, but passed away before that. So he's from Coos Bay, so that's the reason why the big tribute to him there. So a lot of people are attracted to Coos Bay because it kind of, like I've been saying, kind of has something for everyone, from retirees to people that are looking for jobs. Not a ton of jobs along the Oregon coast. So if you need work, if you're looking for work, if you're maybe going to be looking for a change of scenery, change of work, you're going to be able to find about as much or as many opportunities in this area as really anywhere else along the Oregon coast. A lot of places, quite frankly, aren't going to have a whole lot of job opportunities. That green field, that baseball field that you can see kind of peeking out in the back there, that is the high school too, by the way. Now, as far as the real estate market goes, that's another reason why a lot of people are looking at Coos Bay, is because the real estate market is fairly inexpensive, or at least inexpensive relative to the rest of the Oregon coast. Some quick numbers for you. These are the most recent sales for July of 2023. 2-bedroom homes, average price $227. 3-bedroom homes, average price $353. 4-bedroom home, average price $473, giving us an average of $325,000. Now, this is for all of Coos County. If we were just to look at homes within Coos Bay and North Bend and maybe eliminate some of the rural areas, probably going to find that the average is closer to $350 than maybe say $325. Now, for the rest of the Oregon coast, average is really going to vary. There's a lot of different neighborhoods and a lot of different types of homes that you're going to find along the Oregon coast. But just roughly speaking, your average along the Oregon coast is probably going to be closer to $500. So Coos Bay is significantly less expensive than the rest of the Oregon coast, so that also attracts a lot of people. And I would say, going back to what I mentioned about Coos Bay and tourism helping the local economy, that's going to be true for really most all of the Oregon coast towns. When I was growing up in decades past, a lot of the towns sort of had more of a defunct feel to them. A lot of them, quite frankly, felt a little bit run down, just didn't quite have the tourism to support some of the things that they have now, like some of the recreation and the restaurants and some of the things that drive even more tourism and drive people to stop by when they're passing through. So for that reason, a lot of towns along the Oregon coast, there's a lot of people that I talk to that are lifelong Oregonians that haven't visited the coast recently. When they do look at home prices, they're a little bit surprised by some of the prices they see along the Oregon coast. So tourism has been a lot stronger along the Oregon coast in recent decades, and thus home values have also gone up as well. Now, of course, the rest of the country, home values have gone up significantly, but I tend to find more surprises from people that talk to me about looking at homes for sale along the Oregon coast than maybe some other places. They don't always expect home prices to be as high as they are in some places. In fact, I've talked to some people that lived along the Oregon coast, maybe a few decades ago, moved away somewhere and are now looking back and to moving back here and now surprised at some of the home prices that they're seeing. So for that reason, Coos Bay, North Bend being a little less expensive, if you want to be along the Oregon coast, this is more of an attractive option. Now, if you're going to be along the Oregon coast, of course, one of the reasons why you want to be here is you want to be close to the coast, right? So let's talk a little bit about the beaches for the people living in this area. There's really kind of two primary options. And the first thing that I would say is this area over here, Shore Acre State Park, Sunset Bay State Park, Cape Arago State Park. This little section right here, if I were to pick for somebody visiting the Oregon coast, 5, maybe even 3, let's say 3 spots to stop along the Oregon coast that were the most scenic, those kind of those gems, those places where you want to take a picture. This is a place where a lot of photographers go. I would say this section right here would be one of the top 3 places along the Oregon coast to visit. So it's extremely rugged looking, extremely beautiful, and one of the kind of the nice things about these areas, when I've been here in the past, pretty consistently, they're not super congested. You can't say that about the northern Oregon coast. You go to the really popular beaches along the northern Oregon coast where there's more tourists, more people coming from Portland, for example. The beaches can get fairly crowded. Now, not SoCal like California crowded, but fairly crowded for Oregon. Not usually the case for these places. In fact, the last time I was here, there wasn't a single person at this beach right here. In fact, there was an elephant walrus, which I personally haven't seen that much along the Oregon coast. You don't see them very often. That we didn't even notice at first when we came down here, and I think it was because he kind of just looked like a rock. But noticed him after a while and gave us a little bark or whatever kind of noise they make. It was actually this cove right here. So one thing you can see about these little coves is they're not huge. They're small areas, including Sunset Beach right there. This area, Bassendorf over here, is going to be a little bit bigger. But if you are looking for unobstructed miles and miles of beach to run or to walk along, you're going to have to go over here to North Beach. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, there's no quick way to get from one to the other. This area over here, from Cape Arago all the way over to Bassendorf Beach, this is going to be roughly for people living in Coos Bay, North Bend, like a 15 to 20 minute drive. Now, if you want to come over here and have miles of unobstructed beach, because it's separated by the bay, there is no quick way to do it. You're going to have to come back over the 101, back over Bay Bridge, and come back this way. So this right here, getting to this section from Coos Bay, North Bend, is probably going to be closer to like 25 or 30 minutes. So this area is further inland. It doesn't necessarily have as much of a beach town feel to it. Because as you can see, it's not right along the beach. So if that's something you're looking for, if you're looking for more of a beach town, like Abandon, a lot of the homes here, and a lot of the time that you might spend at the places you might go along, throughout Bandon, you'll bump into the beach quite a bit more. Whereas you have to make a concerted effort, to go over to the beach in the Coos Bay North Bend area. So I hope that helps you get a better feel for the town and for the area. Again, my name is Seth Marchant. I'm a licensed broker in the state of Oregon. Our channel is Living on the Oregon Coast. If you want to see more videos that talk to you about the towns, show you about the towns, the cost of living, the pros and cons, drone footage, driving footage, pretty much any type of footage and information you could want about living along the Oregon coast, make sure and subscribe to our channel. And if you're somebody that's thinking about moving here, if you're thinking about buying a home, whether it's a primary or secondary home, investment property, whatever it may be, you can call us, text us, email us, or click the link below in the description. If you're watching this from TV, you can snap the QR code with your phone. That'll take you to our website where you can find all of our contact information. And within the description of this video, there's a link for our calendar if you want to schedule a Zoom call with us, which is typically best for people coming from outside of the state or people that are just from outside of the area, which so many of you watching are. And until next time, take care, everyone.